So hopefully I'll be able to loop this in with the other video that I was making about fragmentation based on my own experience here. But this article from Android Police was pretty interesting, and I know it was I skimmed it, but you get the gist of it. I mean, for those of us who use Android, and even people who don't use Android can from the outside see it, but those of us who are in it definitely feel it. And the title of this article is "The Android Ecosystem is Fracturing, Losing a Key Strength Against Apple." And I mean, in summary, it's all right. You have Google, you have Samsung, you have OnePlus, you even have Asus, or Asus, I guess. You have Sony, LG called it quits, Motorola, whatever. But earlier, what I was complaining about was fragmentation in terms of Android versions, which, yeah, I have two Asus phones right here, or Asus, whatever. Zenfone 9, Zenfone 10. Zenfone 10 has Android 14. Zenfone 9 has Android 13. Zenfone 9 has the January 2024 security update, while the Zenfone 10 still has the December 2023 security update. So fragmentation right there within their own products. And I get for the newer phone to have to get the newer operating system a little bit sooner, but that too is part of the fragmentation process of, well, if you're still supporting the phone, you should be able to push out these upgrades at the same time. I mean, if you're not supporting the phone, you're just not supporting it. So, it's by the wayside. But if you're still supporting it, I shouldn't have to wait months to get Android on the newest phone. Like, mind you, Android 14, I believe, came out in October, maybe September, I think October. And we're just getting it in December or maybe early January. I forget exactly when it was available. But then for the Zenfone 9, which I'm pointing over there, even though it's right here in my lap, still hasn't received a 5-month-old update. And then it gets frustrating when you are either months right before the next version of Android comes out, or sometimes you're even past the previous version of the latest version coming out. So you might now be 2 operating systems behind, and then you get an update, but that update is already out of date because it is now given to you after the latest version of Android has been released. So that's part of the fragmentation problem. But the issue that this article is referring to, which personally I'm not as concerned about, but it comes, it deals with fragmentation in terms of Android itself is fragmented, as I'm just discussing, but then within Android you have additional fragmentation, and the things they were pointing out would be accessories. So you buy a phone from a particular vendor, and yes, that phone has Android on it, which is what you want. But then now it's like, okay, if you have your Samsung Galaxy S23 or 24 that comes out in a couple of weeks, or a couple of days really, why would you get a Pixel watch? You would get a Galaxy watch, right? But what if you want a Pixel watch, but you don't want a Google Pixel phone? So now you're having to figure out, is this going to work as seamlessly as it should? And from what I've seen in the article, the answer is no, it doesn't. Things don't sync up the way that they should. And the issue, which you understand why, is that everybody needs to talk to each other. And it's understandable that they don't. they don't and don't want to. So if Samsung is able to get Android as Android Open Systems Project, AOSP, I believe that's what I believe that's what it stands for. But if Samsung is able to get that, and then Google publishes whatever, and Samsung is able to grab that, they're probably like, all right, I don't need to talk to you, Google, for anything else. Like, why would I? I've gotten what you can provide me. I am able to put that on my phones. And then when it comes to our accessories, we control all those. Yes, Wear OS is a thing, and I'm not exactly sure how that fits into what is and isn't open source. No idea. But if they're able to control most of everything, why would they want to talk to Google? Same thing with Google. Yeah, they control, they have their Pixel, they have Android, they have their Pixel Watch, they have the Pixel Buds. Why would they care if their Pixel Buds work seamlessly with a Galaxy or with a Zenfone or with an iPhone? Like, why would they? And with Apple, it's all under one umbrella. So you get the phone, whatever year, cool, pro or non-pro. You get the watch. The watch works with iOS, which is the only operating system on the phone. So it works seamlessly. And that is another thing that I was pointing out earlier in the video is that it is nice when a company is able to exhibit that much control when it benefits you. But with Android, unfortunately, and fortunately, they don't exhibit always as much control, but with that, you get the fragmentation. Oh, it is Android open source project. I don't know why I said and the article goes on and, it questions what's more important to Google, whether it's the Pixel or Android. And from my perspective, I mean, you can't have the Pixel without Android, but as it mentions, and as we all see, there are features that are exclusive to the Pixel. And if any of it was hardware limited, I would kind of understand. But since none of it is, from what I can see, it's like, all right, somebody should be able to use this feature if they just simply have Google Photos installed on their phone. And that was one of the issues I had with the Pixel 8 Pro. I think Video Boost was one of the features exclusive to the Pixel 8 Pro. And it's like, wait a minute, Google. The person records the video on their phone, and then that video is uploaded to your servers. Your servers do the processing, and then send it back to the user. I believe that's the full circle. And it's like, well, okay, screw literally every other phone except for the regular Pixel 8. The Pixel 8 has the exact same hardware minus a camera. Why can't the regular Pixel 8 do that? And it's abundantly clear that, it's just a cash grab. And it's, you need to get our greatest phone to do all this stuff. And there's some other picture editing features that are exclusive to the Pixel 8 Pro. And it's just like, but none of this processing happens locally. So why? And that is one of the competing things. It's, all right, well, this feature is exclusive. It's a part of Android, but it's exclusive only to this particular device. You're now fighting with yourself. You have the Pixel team fighting with Android. It's like, well, that should be just a part of, or really just maybe even just the Google Photos team. I don't know, but it's problematic. And like, I'm sad to see that the iPhone continues to gain market share in this country. Because I will tell you right now, the Mac, which is, I'm using it right there, great product. Thoroughly enjoy using it. There are probably some issues that I could point out, but I really like using it. But the iPhone is just fundamentally a bad product from a software standpoint. I don't care how seamless things are. I don't care that there is minimal fragmentation. It's just from a computing standpoint, that control that I was referring to is too much. And it really limits what you can actually do. And I don't like it. Flat out don't like it. So when I see, and the article pointed out too, that Apple is gaining market share in this country, it's, in my opinion, Americans don't like to think. And the iPhone doesn't require you to think. Heck, I think it was Craig Federighi or whoever was, when they were on trial with Epic, talking about the fact that babies can use iPhones. Like, it's a simple device, and Apple wants to hide what you need to think about. And it starts with, I can't put this icon in anywhere on the screen. It has to be in this top left corner. For the life of me, still don't understand why that's a limitation on the iPhone. I mean, they talk about all the things it can do, but people have created invisible widgets and placed them in certain places so that way the space is technically occupied, and then you can put the apps that you want to see in locations. And it's just like, why? I just don't understand. But Anyway, back to the fragmentation. As I said before, and we'll continue talking and thinking about this. It's fragmentation has always been a problem, and yeah, it is going to be ecosystems within ecosystems, and it's okay. I like Android, but I want and I like Samsung, but I want the Pixel Watch. Is that going to give you the best experience? No. I like the Pixel, but I want a Galaxy Watch. Is that going to give you the best experience? No. Um, like I like Sony phones. Really, I like the Zenfone, but I want a Pixel Watch, and I like the Galaxy Buds. Is that going to flow the way that it should? Probably not. So it's a work in progress, and I do like when things come together cohesively. And yeah, the article points out the quick share. So Apple has AirDrop, seamlessly sends stuff to and from devices. It's not as great as people make it out to be because it's actually pretty slow, and it should be a lot faster than it is. And that's probably something that Apple has limited. And every time I start talking about stuff, I know I just go off on tangents, but it's if I have, and I don't have any M3 products, but when I'm using MacBooks, M series MacBooks, and I'm sending files to and from, if they're both Wi-Fi 6 devices, or the iPhone, if that's a Wi-Fi 6 device as well in the loop, I feel like the transfer speed should be a lot faster than what I'm seeing. So I will send small videos, using AirDrop. I'll send pictures or just regular files or something. But anything that's meaningful, I use a wire and plug it in. But what I was getting at is that, yeah, it is nice when things do start coming together. And the nearby share is what Android was using, or really what Google was using. In fact, I want to say everybody but Samsung was using to simulate that, to emulate that thing. Wirelessly share items between devices. Samsung had something called Quick Share, and I want to say Microsoft was even involved with this. They had nearby sharing or something, which I tried that once. I was like, this is terrible. Why on earth would you release this as a as a product? Yeah, this should not have been released. So what's happening is the quick share is going to become the universal way to wirelessly share things between devices. Now, I've never had the opportunity to use quick share because I don't think I've ever had two Samsung devices at the same time. Let me think. Actually, for a brief period I did, but I didn't do anything. So yeah, but we'll see if it improves. For the one time that I have tried, or the few times I've tried nearby share using Android devices, it was not a great experience. And when I know wireless handshakes and things like that consume some of the bandwidth, so things end up taking a little bit longer than they should. But I said, this again, another product that should not have been shipped. So we'll see what happens. And in fact, I don't think it's been pushed out yet, but with Android 14, let me see if it's in the settings. Quick. In fact, let me just type share. So Bluetooth nearby share. So nearby share is still, at least here. I don't know if that's. And nearby share is still the thing for the Pixel. So yeah, we'll see when it actually releases. If it's any better. I I understand how easy it is, and yeah, like if you're out and about and you're like, hey man, you took a bunch of pictures, do you mind just airdropping them to me real quick? Cool, But for real data transfers, uh, plugging a wire in will be your best bet. It's unfortunate that devices like this and even this handy dandy iPhone 15 non-Pro, these devices still operate at USB 2 speeds, so they aren't as fast as they should be in 2024 now. They came out last year, so I guess you could give them a pass. But no, USB 2 in 2023 was not acceptable, so it definitely isn't acceptable today in 2024. But yeah, it's nice when the companies do work together. So as time goes on, we'll see exactly how quick share works and how well it works, I guess I should say. All right, I think that's it. And I'm going to call this one quits. Fragmentation sucks.